KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader when the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Told y'all. Dynasty. Rockefeller Records. You heard me? Unstoppable. Jiggle y'all. Siegel, you heard? It's a dynasty. Who could believe? Jigger man, mo better. Mo cheddar, foes knock the man off your polo sweater. Roll with the ROC, hey fella. Remember me, the teachers used to fellas. Now it's Mo Skrilla, 4 killers, 4-wheelers. We gorillas, oh please fill us. We heat holders, fighting. Listen boy, Roy Jones couldn't steal us. The plot thickens, the block clicking. We got the game tied up, stop tripping. Jigger man, huh? Siegel, y'all. Memphis, what? Million, Cappy Ham, El Capitan. The fire I spit burned down Happy Land. Social club, we unapproachable thugs, non-social, gone postal. Great aim, harm the arm close to your toast, like a Don supposed to. Sean, I thought I told you, these ain't just vocals. Don't make me take it to the old school. I put hoes through your hoes too, through your clothes, through the foes, through the getting close to you. Jigger man, huh? Siegel, y'all, a million, what? Netflix.
Y'all dudes don't get it. Come with it. Fifth loaded with slugs.
Definitely early Jay-Z, what, 2000? When they were heavy in the rock. Which album is this from? The Dynasty album? Yeah. And that's what it sounds like. A lot of beans. He's shouting out a million. That didn't go too well. Memphis.
A million, gone.
Gone. You know what's funny? I think about that, like, not that she was a victim of this, but, welcome back in. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. I don't know if you saw this on social media, but remember the guy from making the band, Dylan
Dillinger, icon of the new era.
So he was recently talking, and I'm connecting this to what we're going to talk about with Jay-Z.
All cap.
Okay. He said that he feels like the Dave Chappelle skit, even though it never happened, there was never a time when he was asked to name the 5 hottest rappers, and he said himself and everyone, although he was quite arrogant on making the... Listen, that was some good TV. Not appropriate, and apparently not what you want to see when you think about the accusations that are being levied around P. Diddy, but I enjoyed making the band very much.
I got it all on VHS. Dylan was one of my favorites.
He was hilarious, but he said Dave Chappelle ruined his career. And I say, although I understand, because, you know, if you put out a certain perception, people don't care about the truth anymore at all. As we've talked about, they will believe anything. But I don't feel like anybody was really checking for Dylan like that.
Agreed.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, even I questioned the band. I was like, what is this mishmash that they are putting together? This is just good TV. They can't really think that this is a good group. No shade, no tea, if that was some of y'all favorites. But I didn't think anybody, again, no shade, no tea, keep hope alive, in that situation was a star or was someone that I was like, yeah, I could see them being picked up if this doesn't work out.
You didn't feel that way about Chopper?
Nope. I thought he was cool, but listen, and that probably was the thing at the time. And again, it might have been, you know, just not for me. He was a little too dusty for my liking.
Come on now.
It's just random. But no, I didn't think that anybody individually and especially like collectively, I didn't know what to make of it as a group. Felt like he was putting together a compilation album more so than a group. I felt like,
essentially that's what it was.
Yeah. but I felt like everyone that was picked for that season, even though I enjoyed it, was strictly about TV. Nothing to do with music. I didn't feel like they were terrible, but like none of the music they put out I didn't think was hot. I thought they might have had a moment, but I just think it was the best of the rest.
Did you hear the album?
No.
Exactly that.
I heard some singles
The album
though.
was fire.
Was it?
100% it was. I'm not gassing. For real. It was
really
it was a solid album. Yeah. I think because maybe because of the whole TV aspect, you know, a lot of people really didn't give them a chance. But it's really some solid music on that album. For sure.
Because like I felt Danity Kane and Day 26, they had solid music on their albums.
And see, I wasn't really feeling them.
Because they weren't hip hop. I mean, understandable. I wanted to like the band. I just felt like it was a mess. I didn't understand it.
Probably should listen to the album. May change your mind.
Maybe. We'll see. Shout out to Renia Black in this chat. She says, the skit was hilarious. I think they could have left a musical footprint. Interesting.
I think they did. When you think about making a band, you can't help but think about the band.
You think about cheesecake.
No. I like the process.
I did enjoy the process. Unfortunately, not great to say right now. One of the things that I respected from that show, and it's something we talk about that's missing, is artistic development. What it takes to be on stage. Why, hey, you probably should do a light jog while you were singing your song. Why? Because if you're going to be performing a 1-2 boom cat and singing, you need breath control. Sweetie was recently talking about one of the things that she felt she needed to work on as a performer, and breath control was one of the things that she mentioned. I mean, I think the process of having them, I think even some of the conversations, though harsh, I remember there was, and I don't remember if this was on the band or if this was with Danity Kane, but I feel like it was about Sarah or someone else. I think she was 30 at the time, and Diddy said that he was concerned about her being on the road, if she would look tired, if her age would start to catch up with her. I thought that was an incredibly cruel statement, but an incredibly real and true statement. If you hear some of the conversations that music industry people had, just look at the comments. Look at the comments of people right now on the Shade Room or any number of those, digital blogs and things of that nature. People are mean. They will go in on you for everything. Oh, your hair was out of place. What? You don't even got a melted lace wear. What are you doing? How you must be poor. You're wearing your natural hair. I mean, things like that. So, but I thought it was a very real thing to set it up for. And I didn't know the music was fire though.
Music was definitely fire. But to what you were just saying, that's a lot of the stuff that Kevin Samuels used to talk about. But a lot of people was upset about what he was saying. But he was just regurgitating what the industry standards was all about. You know what I'm saying?
I think the issue with Kevin Samuels, because the thing is, when you listen to what he was saying, sometimes he was being honest for the scenarios that were presented. I think the problem is, one, that catch-all approach that he kind of threw at it was sometimes offensive, right? And then two, regular everyday people should not apply Hollywood standards to their life. And I think that is a lot of the problem on both sides. There are people who, you live an average life, and even if you have a little bit more money than average, you're still a regular person. You shouldn't be trying to keep up with the entertainment community.
Unfortunately, a lot of regular people are trying to do that.
And then the flip side of that is, don't be surprised if the people that everybody wants can afford to be a little pickier. I know it's not popular, and I'm not even saying it's always right, but here's the reality. To me, you have as much right to be as picky as you want to about the people that you are going to share your personal space with, be in a relationship with, or potentially be intimate with. When people are like, oh, looks shouldn't matter at all, they should matter to you if they matter to you. Because you got to be intimate with that person. You have to kiss them. You have to hug them. And if you enjoy this person's conversation and their friendship, but you can't see being physical, that's friendship. That is not a relationship, and that's not fair. And I think people try and, again, not saying that you should be superficial, but I think that people try and push away attraction or things like that. Just because you're attracted to someone doesn't mean that they're perfect or the epitome of whatever the look cycle is, but it is not a stretch or asking too much to want to be attracted to an individual. And now step off my soapbox, and when we come forward, we'll get into more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So, we've been talking about comedians for the past 2 months. It's just been a little over 2 months since the Cat Williams interview dropped and changed the course of 2024. Well, we also saw Mike Epps jump into the fray, and we knew that he had an upcoming Netflix special that was coming out. We were like, oh, he's probably trying to get some press for that. Well, Mike has another project that's coming out as well that is in partnership with, guess who? Kevin Hart. Guess what, y'all? They are bringing back Comic View. So if you have BET Plus, starting March 14th, it's only 4 episodes, but Comic View is back. Mike Epps is going to be the host, and it features an all-star lineup. The lineup includes DC Young Fly, T.I., Brescia Webb, Tommy Davidson, LeVar Walker, Takara Williams, Brandy Denise, Jay Ski, Tony Roberts, and more. So, like I said, there'll be 4 episodes. They all drop at once on BET Plus, March 14th. So, tap in, see what the next wave of comedy is all about. Hopefully, all of the hoopla, all of the conversation around comedians will result in, some funny material coming to the surface, because it's been questionable, but I suppose difficult, as we talked about, for some, because comedy has changed. I remember Cat Williams was in an interview, I think that interview that where he roasted that lady Wanda. That's neither here nor there, though. But he talked about that people have to adapt, and, things change. What was okay in view or considered funny switches up, and if you're a funny person, you adapt. And I do think that that is true. People have to learn, because I think that when you think about the early 90s style of comedy, when we were just getting to see ourselves like on TV on a regular, like we knew about the Richard Pryor movie. We saw our bits on things like Saturday Night Live and stuff like that, but getting to really see our comedic genius laid out between Showtime at the Apollo in the late 80s, early 90s, and then Def Comedy Jam, it established a particular type of comedy and comedians that succeeded. And now we're in a different era where different things are taking hold, different styles of comedy. So I think that it is just about, finding their good. I think one thing that is never going to lose its touch, and maybe that is some of the problem for some of the comedians, because some people tell jokes and then some people are good storytellers. And I think storytelling that is funny is coming back into vogue, and that's why some of these people are struggling. Kendi says none of those people have good stand-up. Okay. I feel you. Comedy is subjective, so we'll have to see. Andy?
Yeah, I like a lot of silliness and obnoxiousness when it comes to comedy, especially impressions. If you could do those 3, you got me.
Oh, okay, so you want to be rolling on the floor, like, so you are you enjoy Jay Farrell in moments?
Jay Farrell's cool,
stuff like that.
But if I had to, Jamie Foxx to me is probably he's not my number 1 comedian, but I always think about I Might Need Security.
That was
probably,
so funny. I watched it.
I feel like you got a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? You got some storytelling, you got some
sang,
impressions,
yeah.
some saying. Like, I like that type of comedy right there.
Me too. That's why I'm excited that he is going to come back to the stage and kind of tell his story, because Jamie is funny and one of the best storytellers. Jamie Foxx is for me, one of the top entertainers of
100.
Our era, just across the board. Forensic Accountant says Wanda Smith's appearance on Def Comedy Jam is still one of my favorites. I remember that name vaguely. The OG Def Comedy Jams, Laura was the one that Laura Hayes wore a wig, and she ripped her wig off. I just think when you look at them now, I see why they were so funny then, and it wasn't what we saw. But I don't know. We're in an Instagram skit thing. One thing that I will say about a lot of the Instagram comedians, not all, I think DC Young Fly has managed to carve a good space for him. And there's some other ones like, what is that guy, Mo Jizz or something like that? Desi Banks, obviously, Drewski. But one of the things I think a lot of these newer comedians, that especially the ones that have gotten popular on social media, struggled with was a full out set or whatever. They were good at, a minute skit or something like that. But even with some of those, you're kind of like, the story is leaving us, and can we get something more? I think that people everything, because of social media and the quickness and the ease, looks easier, and people are not putting in the work sometimes, or those reps to polish up some of these points.
Speaking of DC Young Fly, we got to shout out Nick Cannon and Wildin' Out, for their contributions to the comedy space.
For sure.
In a lot of ways, you can call that the Def Comedy Jam of the future in a lot of ways.
For sure, because you think about the fact that most of our newer comedians have come through that Wildin' Out stage, and granted, there's been two versions of it. There was the early version of it that came on, I guess, in the late 2000s or whatever, and then it went away and it came back in 2013. Yeah, there's two versions of it.
How so? What's the difference?
It was canceled. There was different casts. The games that they played, it was a different show.
Okay. I mean, it looked like it was all the same to me.
It went through different things, but they've been going strong. They came back in 2013, and I mean, so 11 years, that's the long time, for putting it down. Nick Cannon, in all his foolishness, he does some things. Shout out to him. Wanda Smith, forensic accountant, says, is the one Cat Williams clowned on Atlanta radio. Oh, I don't remember her comedy set. I'm going to trust you that it was funny, because she did let Cat get the best of her that day. Cat did mention on his recent comedy tour how his phone went crazy when Nicki Minaj said that she wanted him to join her on tour. He said that he thought the devil was calling in that manner, that he's just taking this stuff over. But, when you are hot, you are hot. And I think Nicki's tour is doing well. She's one of the ones that sells. So we'll have to see when summer hits which of the lady rappers are still popping and making it work. Terry says, I like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey hasn't been on a comedy stage in forever, right? Heck, when's the last project he's acted in? It's been a minute. Kendi says, can you even call someone who does skits a comedian? I view people like Drewski as comedic actors, but not comedians. He has no insight on, can't see the little hearts there, on life whatsoever. I think that's a fair perspective, but at the same time, I think that is kind of not true. I mean, well, Kendi, I think you said you're 22, so it's interesting you saying that. But I feel like when some of the things Drewski does, like when he's doing the work wife skit or whatever, right? I never worked at the factory, but that seemed accurate. That seems like with some of the things that you see, the conversations and how those situations go. So I think he has a perspective on life, but he's young. And which I'm sure you can attest to, what you know at 25 is maybe not what you're going to know at 40. And your perspective may change. It's a different thing. Eddie Murphy said, when he started doing comedy, he was 15 years old, sneaking into the comedy clubs. And he said all he had to talk about was taking a dump, because that was really all the life experience he had. But people knew he was funny. Andy?
I agree with Kendi. Until you hit the stage and do a little set, you know what I'm saying? I don't view you as a true comedian.
Okay. I mean, and that is fair. I get what you're saying, but here's the other thing. Has the definition of comedian changed because of social media as we've all... No?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Just because you do funny skits doesn't necessarily make you a comedian at all. Okay. Until you get on that stage and rock a crowd, then I can give you comedian status.
Otherwise, you're just a funny act, like you said, a comedic actor. Okay, boom. Forensic accountant says, you're talking about the show that Tracy Ellis Ross was on, right? Was that the original version of Wild Out, or was she on Lyricist Lounge? She was on Lyricist Lounge. No, I'm talking about Wilding Out. I know what I'm talking about. Wilding Out ran, and it was either canceled or something happened. It was off the air for a little while, and then they resurrected it and brought it back.
But it's always been the same format, though.
There was the format was the same in that there were two teams and they went and they were capping at each other, but there weren't as many games as first. Just the format of the show changed. Like it used to, Wild 'N Out used to be shot here in LA.
Well, I know they shoot it. They go to random places.
No, they go to Atlanta.
No, they've been to New York. They've been to random places. Yeah, they've been moving around.
When it initially launched, it was shot here in L.A., and they had models, things, and it was different, and it went off the air for a little bit. I'm telling you, look it up, Google me.
I know what I'm talking about, too. The format has never changed.
Yes, it has. Okay.
Different games. Different comedians.
Listen. This is how, we're not going to play it, but because I think there might be some profanity in it. But Chico Bean, who is one of the comedians that's on Wild 'N Out, he was just on The Breakfast Club. And on it, the reason why I'm bringing this up is obviously he came through there, so did Jess Hilarious. And they were discussing how Jess was trying to get at him in the early Wild 'N Out days. The only reason why I bring this up is because he talked about being on the second version of Wild 'N Out. I don't know how different like it was, but there were two different versions of Wild 'N Out, and it changed. I promise you, y'all gonna be mad when I bust out these facts. I'm right.
Bring the facts.
Okay.
Because I am a fan, and I know that space that they had in between, but it's pretty much the same show. Different cast, different colors, different locations. They're cracking jokes, different games. You still got DJ D-Rec as the DJ. I don't see any difference.
So, okay. Let's start it like this. Initially, it was on MTV and MTV2, right? And it first started in 2005, okay? So, long time ago. It was more mild, kind of, when Nick was doing it. He still was on his President of Nickelodeon theme, whatever. So, here's all the changes that happened, because there were changes that happened. The teams are the Red Squad, which was the team name until season 5 when they became the Platinum Squad and permanently became captained by Nick Cannon. The Black Squad was always led by celebrity guests until season 7 where they switched it up. For season 8, they revamped the colors and some of the games and the way the format led out for seasons 9 through 14. So they've made some changes in between there. It went back to its old school versus new school format in season 17. So they have done various versions on it. And it was different when it was on MTV before it came back and made the jump to VH1. So, boom, check it.
Couple tweaks, but still the same thing.
Still the same thing. I mean, yeah, but, it was off the air, though. It went off in September of 2007, so it was off the air for 6 years. No, it doesn't seem like it, but it was, and so when it came back, it was all new people, and that's when they switched a bunch of the stuff up. So, boom, check it. I'm right. Y'all wrong. Listen to me. All right, when we come forward, Renea Black says it takes a certain personality when you remember a joke for decades that makes you a comedian. Facts. I agree with that. When we come forward, we're going to get into what Stephen A. Smith said Jay-Z had to say to him, and are we overreacting about competition? Isn't that just part of the thing? All of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
The email us again, Jigga Man, what? Memphis Bleak, huh? A million, yeah. Single rap. Stop. From tower to mom pop, I move out, stop. Shower your mom block, move out with Glocks. Raw to the cook, look, move out them blocks. Take it to the Bucks who be grinding it up. Use the ticket to the Dubs or they diamond it up. Competition, lining them up. 45 ACP, lemon squeeze, lime them up.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
More when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. New York City Mayor Eric Adams isn't saying a whole lot following last week's FBI raid of a top aide. Last Thursday, the FBI visited 2 Bronx homes of Winnie Greco, a former fundraiser for Adams, who is now his director of Asian Affairs. Adams, who is black, says he can't answer the question when asked why he thinks the feds are investigating his aides. The top lawyer for the Adams administration says there's been no indication the mayor is the target of any investigation. The Reverend Al Sharpton is in Memphis today giving the eulogy for a Shelby County jail inmate who died after what was labeled severe neglect and body insect infestations. 42-year-old Ramon McGee was taken to the hospital in January after being found unresponsive in his cell. Other inmates who died at the facility will be eulogized by Sharpton as well. The families of the inmates who filed lawsuits are being represented by Black civil rights attorney Ben Crump. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Join the Dodgers for the first bobblehead giveaway of the 2024 season, Saturday, March 30th at 6:10 p.m. versus the Cardinals. First 40,000 fans in attendance receive a Freddie Freeman bobblehead presented by Bank of America. For tickets and info, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. 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 Follow the leader.
You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580, where climate is king. Climate is king. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Into hour 3 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. The chat is still bustling. Forensic Accountant says, got me thinking about the ROC Uchi Wally freestyle now. I don't remember that one. I guess Beans had to be on it, or something. Renea Black says, Jay-Z probably told Stephen A. Why does the little heart always get in the way? Stephen A. He got that ignorant-ish like that. Well, we're going to listen to what Stephen A. said Jay-Z said to him. It's not that bad. But I do wonder, right, when you make these type of phone calls, and I get, I'm assuming they have a relationship, so it wasn't like menacing. But I get Jay-Z's point, but is it that important? I don't know. We're going to listen to what Stephen A. had to say.
I bought her album. She gets my money. Mad love for her. Wishing her nothing but the best come Super Bowl performance. But you do know there's only one Beyonce. And somebody like Blue Navy's after you. What the hell's Blue Navy? What's Blue Navy? And then, now, people who will remain nameless, Hollywood stars, couple of cats pissed off at me, going off, complaining, never spoke to me again. Right? And I'm like, y'all messing around with each other? Son, what the hell's going on here? Why would that be something that makes you upset? Right? Months later, Hove and I was on the phone. Hove was like, quote, simple and plain, my dog, you family. That's family. That's too close to say that. Right. But I didn't know. I said, I didn't know. He said, I know. Done. Right. See what I'm saying? It's like, because now you say, in other words, it's a business, it's a part of it. You don't know how she'll receive it, that's right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's right. And that's all he had to say. Right. I appreciate.
So here's the thing. One, it is true. You never know in whatever commentary you give how someone is going to respond, react to it. You don't know who's going to hear it, who's not, and what they're going to think. So it is something to be mindful of. But I think, one, there's going to be natural comparisons. It's just, It's what it is. I think the problem for me comes in is that people think that if you like one, you can't appreciate or like the other. That's simple. That's elementary, but it's a natural thing that people are going to compare and contrast. I like tacos. I like burritos. I mean, it's just, again, I get the fostering of the sense of community and family and not pitting two black women against each other. I truly do, and I understand. But I also think that it is unrealistic to think that we aren't going to compare what we like, what the things that are our strengths and our favorites. I'll say all day, Beyonce is a way better performer than Rihanna. Rihanna is a lazy performer, but I tend to lean more towards Rihanna. But I like them both. I'm going to, patronize them both. Listen to should Rihanna decide to come back to music. She doesn't have to, but I think that we are getting the stan as an identity is really crazy to me. I mentioned that there is a documentary that's coming out soon about standom and how it's taken over and what it's done for social media. But it is ridiculous in a way, because Stephen A, he said he liked Rihanna again. It's just kind of a little, not sinister, but just a little like, did you really call him to say, hey, knock that off? I hope Stephen A is exaggerating. Andy?
Highly disappointed in Jay-Z. Jay-Z is somebody who's a huge sports guy,
right?
Who's invested in the NBA and the NFL. He should be somebody who should already know about the comparisons, period. You know what I mean? I get Beyonce is your wife and all that. It's unfortunate because Beyonce's Beyonce, she's above criticism or she's above comparison. Like, stop it. Don't act like you ain't never got a haircut, and I'm speaking to Jay-Z. Don't act like you ain't never got a haircut at the barbershop and you guys were talking about, who the greatest boxer was. And you guys were arguing for hours about who the greatest boxer was. Like, come on, stop it. You feel me? And we've discussed this before, when we were comparing Beyonce to, I don't know who it was.
Taylor Swift.
Was it Taylor Swift? Like for real, y'all? For real, y'all? We're go ahead. We're dissing the black woman. No, we're not, man. We're just comparing two artists. You know what I'm saying? Who happen to be at the top of their game. That's the only reason why we're comparing the two.
That is facts. Sometimes I think that we have made fandom too complicated. Do you know, like, oh, well, if I like this person, I have to like that person. And I also, as someone who, I'm into numbers, I'm into stats, always have been. But I do think that there is an over importance on it as far as people don't seem to just, if you enjoy something and you like it, like it. That's what it's for. It doesn't matter if it didn't go number one or if it didn't get 50,000 sales or if Rihanna's 1-2 count isn't really much and pretty lazy. It doesn't, because you like it. And it's giving you what you need. I mean, I guess from that perspective, we have gotten a little bit out of hand, but I don't think that trying to quash it or make it so, I think the idea that we are always trying to force unity in that way is unrealistic. Everybody's not going to match up. Everything is not going to be a match for people. And that's okay. I think we have to be okay with, the differences too. Andy?
And do we forget what Stephen A. Smith does for a living?
Right.
The name of the show is First Take. They do hot takes on, specifically sports
Embrace
or whatnot.
Debate, yes.
But, you know what I'm saying? They always provide their opinion or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Is Pat Mahomes going to be better than Tom Brady? Like, come on, you guys. Stop it.
I mean, and again, I understand you've seen athletes talk about, oh, it really impacts our careers in these conversations. The only thing I do have to say about that is I get how chatter, because you hear the same thing about artists, we Dylan talking about that, but here's the real. Does the chatter get heard? A little bit. But to me, the reality is, one, if a professional of a professional sports franchise or an executive at a label is basing their professional decision off of idle chatter, they're not good at their job anyway. So you weren't going to get far anyway with them. The other thing is just that, people to compare and contrast is natural. We do it with the day to night, the sun and the moon. It is just the natural inclination of humans, I believe.
We all took science class, right?
Right.
I mean, you conduct experiments, right? Hypothesis, you know what I'm saying? You compare and contrast. I mean, come on, you guys. Come on.
It's just, I think that, when we put too much, oh my God, like just, I like ice cream. I like sorbet. Everybody's happy,
Do you know when you gave your reasons as to, why you like Beyonce, but why you prefer Rihanna earlier?
Uh-huh.
Like, let's say somebody goes on this YouTube clip and they see that. You're going to get trashed by the Beehive.
I am.
Like, come on. Like, for real?
It's okay. I'm a G. I can take, I think that the idea where we are, and that's why I think overall with everything, we want things too neatly packaged in a way, and life is not like that. Everything is not absolute. What?
I was going to say, we were huge fans when Versus was out, right?
Correct.
I feel like that's the ultimate comparison situation, right?
Right.
We loved it, though. And I'm
we
pretty sure when
enjoyed
he was
it,
watching it,
yeah.
we enjoyed it, and we were comparing while we was watching it.
And the thing is this, too. Catch me on any given day, and something that is my favorite today might be my third favorite tomorrow. That's just the way life goes. And I wish we could relax a little bit in that. I mean, there's going to be comparison, and it doesn't always have to be negative. And everything isn't always going to be kumbaya, sisterhood, we get along, And the thing is, even if we don't get along today, we could tomorrow. I just think it's too much thought into how to be a proper fan, and it's ridiculous. You can just enjoy some stuff.
Considering the black plight around the world, I'm not going to just say America, but I'm going to go ahead and say around the world. Do you feel that the need for us to be unified on all fronts, meaning the way we speak about each other, right? Like, for example, Kamala Harris, I know she gets a lot of criticism, but like, I don't even know how I'm trying to ask this question, but can we not be self-critical of our people without it without it being like we're hating on each other, or this is another black man, this is another black woman, we shouldn't talk negative, but like
I think it speaks to what the conversation we were having in hour one about Dr. Umar and Nick Cannon. I think what it is that because we get, stereotypes seem to impact us a little bit more. The results and the fallout seems to have a longer lasting or a deepening negative connotation than perhaps with some others. But by that same token, I think when we try to treat everything with kid gloves and act as if discord doesn't exist, or that, we don't disagree, that it sets up unrealistic ideology. It is why we have this idea that we have to be perfect in a different sort of way, I feel, at times from, not all other races. We know Asian people have that thing, but I think the idea of perfection and what we put forward is because we're like, no, they're never going to give us another shot. They're not going to accept us if it isn't absolutely perfect and presented in a way that can cause no more feedback, argument, or pushback on it. And I think that is hard on us as a people because, again, it is unrealistic to put those type of standards and expectations on us. While I do understand wanting to raise the bar, and there are moments when we can sit up a little higher and tighten up, I think overall we're not giving ourselves grace to learn and to grow and to talk about the areas where maybe we are confused as to why this is wrong, or we don't feel it's wrong and we want to talk about it. I think we have to be able to talk about the uncomfortable things or the things that we don't agree with. It can't just be nope, because that is not working either, and it's not moving us ahead. And I think that is the thing. So that, which I think we do as Black people, in the right moments, we come together. It is, that whole thing. I could talk about my family, but you can't, so to speak. I think it makes it difficult for us when we say that we are above reproach and we can't critique and be honest and have conversations about the talent level or the art that is being put out or whatever the case may be. It boxes us in, and it also forces us to accept some mediocrity that we are pretending is greatness. And then that causes a whole bunch of other issues, which, we can talk about at some other time, in my opinion. But go, Andy. I want to hear what you have to say.
Nah, just, I appreciate, what you just said last, and it just got me thinking about, like, black businesses, right? We're very critical of, black businesses, and, we do expect perfection in a lot of ways. But, once again, considering our plight, we might not have all the resources it is to be able to be a well-oiled black business. So with that being said, despite, sometimes our criticism, I'm still going to give black businesses grace because I'm sure you got to start somewhere. Eventually you'll get to that point.
And I think that there is a debate. There's two minds of that. It's that we understand the plight. We understand how, just to put something out or to get the business up or to, put something forward, we know how much it took to get there, how much more so than perhaps other people. And I think that that is where it comes from. Well, don't critique them. Don't say anything bad because we recognize that it was hard for them to get in the position to get to that point. But I also think we do ourselves a disservice if we can never speak about where we might need to grow and challenge ourselves. When we come forward, we'll have more on this topic, plus others. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Don't settle for bumps, ingrowns, and itch due to dry skin. Try Venus for pubic hair and skin, the razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area. Featuring a razor with patent irritation defense bar and skin care regimen that is dermatologist and gynecologist tested. Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shave irritation. Discover the full regimen of products at GilletteVenus.com.
Don't shave with that, son. You'll get razor bumps.
Nah, Pops. I'm good with Gillette's Skin Guard. How long you been growing that beard anyway? You know Mama hates it.
Yeah, had it since my last wet shave in 77. Got ingrown so bad, looked like I was growing a patch of new noses.
That's why I use the Gillette Skin Guard razor, face scrub, shave gel, and moisturize, so I don't have to worry about new razor bumps or shaving irritation.
Gillette Skin Guard, huh? Your mama's gonna love this one.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA Can believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So we were talking about sports light topics. And, add DeMar DeRozan to the latest number of athletes that are dropping a podcast. He's calling his Dinners with DeMar. And in the first episode, and I guess subsequently, what this series will be about is, dealing with mental health while being an athlete. We know DeMar has been openly in one of the NBA players that has taken a stand for this. And I think that's good. It's important conversation to have. Athletes need to have those outlets. However, I will say this. We need to put a pause on the athlete podcast at this point. All of you are not entertaining. All of you are not storytellers. And some of you make better guests than week in and week out hosts. I get it. It's a quick money grab. Everybody's looking for content. Everybody has a story that they want to relay or share. But it's getting to be too much. I suppose it'll be much like streaming networks. The cream will rise to the top in that as well. And I'm not saying that that is anything reflective of DeMar's. I haven't listened to his as of yet. Just, a random side note. I saw, what is his name? Tim Thomas, I believe. I think that is his name. He used to play for the Knicks back in the days. I think maybe he played for the Sixers as well. He has a new podcast dropping. Boogie Cousins has a new podcast on the All the Smoke Productions Network. Since Showtime Sports is no more, All the Smoke has turned from just a podcast to a full-fledged production company. And they have podcasts which include Rachel Nichols, Boogie Cousins, Rondo, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett, and some others. And so, again, I appreciate the stories. I like the tales. But I think we're going to need to consolidate some of these. We do not need all of these athlete podcasts, much like we don't need all of the relationship podcasts. Just listen to Zoe Williams. He got you. But, I think it's time to put a pause on it. Just a little bit. But we'll see. Melo's recently dropped one. He has his 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. Dwayne Wade has The Y. We know Charles Barkley has his TV show with Gayle King called King Charles. Charles said that he is going to bump any of you people in the face that he sees walking around with Trump's mugshot on their shirts because it's not appropriate. Anyway, that's just a suggestion. Listen, tomorrow is Wednesday. We have a lot in store for you. We have some interviews coming up. I think our Keep It Real friend, Trent Jackson, Trent the artist, will be in the building. Plus, of course, more trending topics and headlines. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Make sure you are locked in here every night, 9 p.m. Pacific time, for more trending topics and headlines across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. Shout out to the YouTube chat for always keeping it lit. Have an amazing night. When we come forward on the other side, you will be tapped into the best of KBLA. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Party in the weekend, ain't got no mother time. The party on the weekend, tell Jello bring the juice. We about to get lit, fill the room up with some things. One night off and this is it.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network.